What's going on, everybody? How you doing? In today's video, we are starting Rush Counterparts. Wow. So many people have not been able to wait for this. It's like, all right, wow. We're like past all this stuff. Lots of good stuff, lots of bad stuff, or not so great stuff, maybe I should say. And we're at Counterparts, which has the genre grunge. Amazing. 1993. I'm definitely excited about this. This is definitely more in the music that I was listening to when I was growing up. Grunge kind of stuff. 90s music, right? Okay. Backstreet Boys, of course, right? Okay, if you're new here, please subscribe. Check out my videos, all kinds of videos, reaction videos, bass videos, music videos. Check it out. If you like the channel, if you want to support the channel, you can hit super thanks underneath this video. You can hit me direct in the description. I got PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Amazon wishlist, mailing address, and I now do donation request videos. So if there's something you want me to listen to, something you want me to watch, a topic to talk on, a question, anything like that, hit me up direct, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, and in the notes section, leave a description, leave a link, let me know what you want the video to be on, and I'll make the video. Awesome. Ever since I started doing them, I've been getting requests like mad, and I've been able to put one out a day. It's been just awesome. Really cool. And I've been checking out really cool stuff. Really cool music, different stuff that I haven't heard before. Also, probably still one of my favorite ones was Rob's question about my top 3 Rush tunes, thus defining Rush tunes. I really liked recording that video. That was a great one. And that was out of the box because most people, you know, like they want to hear it. They want me to check out a song or an interview maybe. You know, but most of them are songs, which is totally cool. Totally cool. I just finished recording a Porcupine Tree, and I was like, whoa, this is awesome. I had heard of that band before, but I'd never heard them before. So anyways, donation request videos. Thank you guys to everybody that has asked, that's hit me up for donation request videos, that has sent me PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, stuff to the mailing address, everything. You guys are freaking awesome. Okay. So my microphone is plugged in. Okay, let me, oh, yes, it's in. Yes, it's in. Okay. All right. Okay, so if you're new here, this is the first video. My intro is way longer because I like to read through the Wikipedia on the album so that I have some kind of information going in. It's been helpful in the past, for me at least. That's what I'm about to do. Here we go. Counterparts, 15th studio album from Rush, released October 19th, 1993. After the band finished touring its previous album, Roll the Bones, in mid-92, the members took a break before starting work on a follow-up. Counterparts reached number 2 in the United States, one of the band's highest charting albums in the country. Wow. First single, Stick It Out, was number 1. Okay. 1994, instrumental Leave That Thing Alone was nominated for a Grammy. Okay, cool. In June 1992, the band finished the Roll the Bones tour in support of Roll the Bones. Before the group started to work on the album, they casually set out some goals that they wanted to achieve with it from conversations during the Roll the Bones tour. They agreed to achieve a sense of balance between spontaneity and refinement and perhaps work on a more organic approach to the songs. The group agreed that rock band Primus, who opened for them on the Roll the Bones tour, and Pearl Jam influenced them to tweak their sound further. Yeah, and the spontaneity probably came from Neil Peart hanging out with Mickey Hart and going to a Dead concert and seeing all that improvisation. You know, how much of their show is just improv. So, okay. As with their previous 2 studio albums, Rush retreated to Chalet Studios in Claremont, Ontario to write and rehearse new material during the week, returning home on weekends to see their families. They adopted their usual practice of Lee and Lifeson working on the music while Peart worked alone on the lyrics. They stayed at the Chalet for about 2 months and rehearsed well enough so they could concentrate on obtaining a satisfactory sound and a spontaneous performance for their respective parts. Lee and Lifeson put their ideas down using an 8-track Alesis, whatever. I never knew how to say that. I used to have one of their, like, they had this old drum machine. Well, I mean, yeah, they had a drum machine. Probably a lot of people would know it. I forget what it was. 8 or 16 pads. It may have been 8 pads. And anyways, Alesis, a digital audio tape recorder with Cubase audio software. The group faced many technical problems which delayed the writing process to a point where Peart had a short amount of time to arrange his parts, but as Lee recalled, he went through a massive rehearsal period. He works tremendously hard and it's incredible to witness. Counterparts marks a continuation in the band's transition from synthesizers back to guitar-oriented music, which had started on Presto. Leifson said that this was the first time since Moving Pictures that there was a conscious decision to have the guitar take a predominant role, resulting in a more satisfying album for him. The writing sessions were met with increased tension between Lee and Leifson, matters of which began on the Roll the Bones tour over musical differences. Leifson had constantly asked for Neil not to use any keyboards for the album, but Lee brought them in the studio, which created an immediate atmosphere. Lee maintained that keyboards were used on Roll the Bones merely to embellish the songs and wished to use them in the same manner for Counterparts. But Alex was making assumptions that I wanted keyboards all over the place. It was a very volatile situation. What Getty said. Leifson said that the two had greater emotional ups and downs during the writing stage than any other previous Rush album and partly blamed various personal external pressures that did not relate to either's personal lives. Interesting. Yeah, they just were going through other things outside, I guess, of the band and of each other, and it was just causing them to take it out wherever it was, and they were at the chalet. Which didn't sound so, which sounded volatile. When it came to writing lyrics, Peart did not have a form of common thread between the individual songs like he had on Roll the Bones. Instead, devised a selection of individual themes I didn't really associate at the time. Among the topics he thought about were the differences between genders, the anima and animus principle devised by psychologist Carl Jung, and the good and bad regarding heroism. Peart did point out that duality became the only unifying theme and inspired the album's title. Okay, interesting. Lee recalled the difficulty the band had in achieving more power from some tracks with producer Rupert Hine on Roll the Bones in the studio, but were able to on tour. And I think that's stuck in the back of our minds. This matching of music and production style became an element that the band wanted to focus on for Counterparts. In doing so, wanted to work with different producers and engineers. Initially, they talked to a lot of young producers, but they soon realized that there was little to gain from someone who had worked on fewer albums than the group had released over its career and sought someone experienced. Yeah, wow. Rush chose Peter Collins. Lee said that the band had remained friendly with Collins and noticed he developed as a producer since they'd last worked with him, including his work with more American rock bands. As soon as we talked, we knew it would be great, and he agreed with the vision of what we saw, and his comments criticizing the past couple records, sonically anyway, were very much in line with the direction we wanted to go. And we thought, bingo, here we go, this is what we need. Collins had different engineers in mind to work with, so a laborious but interesting search took place to find someone suitable that involved hearing tapes from artists worldwide. In the end, they chose Kevin the Caveman Shirley for the recording. Lee said it was because of his raw and natural sound, very cool, which required minimum use of reverb, which was difficult for the band to get used to at first. For mixing, the band employed Australian engineer Michael Letho. The album was recorded from April to June '93 at Le Studio and McClear Pathé, I don't know if that's how you say it, in Toronto. The 8-track demos were transferred onto the studio's 24-track recorder and became guide tracks for the band to follow and re-record their parts. Leifson recorded his parts onto analog tape, the rest were put down digitally. Interesting. With Peart having less time to record his parts, he put down 11 tracks in 3 days. Leifson said Shirley adopted a very direct way of recording the instruments to capture as little resistance from the microphones to the tape machine as possible, though various effects were explored with later. Leifson commented on the simplicity of recording. It was just a matter of plugging into the amp and miking it. He resisted the idea of recording his guitars outside the studio's control room for the past 12 years, but Shirley talked him into playing in the studio room. After a few days, Leifson enjoyed the experience and wanted to continue recording in this manner. You could feel the wood of the guitar vibrating against your body, and it was more susceptible to that really cool feedback, and it was your own little world. It was a little bit of an escape. Lee used a 1960s Fender Jazz bass, and Leifson played a Les Paul, Fender Telecaster, and PRS guitar models. He often combined the Les Paul and Telecaster along with acoustic guitars to create a single sound. Cool. Upon completion, the album was mastered by Bob Ludwig at Gateway Mastering in Portland, Maine. The album's title was decided upon after the music was finished. Rush had difficulty in selecting the running order on Counterparts, partly due to the fact that it was easier to separate the album with two sides of a vinyl. To help, Leifson listed each track on a magnetic board so they could play around with the order until they had one that they were happy with. Leifson drew a graphical representation of the mood for each track, which helped them select an order, which Lee said helps to ease you out of the record, as much of the album had an aggressive edge. The band had planned to release the album earlier, but Leifson said that would have meant starting the tour earlier, but no members were keen to do so. Alright, then they have a rundown of songs, which I'll just read before I do each song. Band supported, it debuted at number 2 on the Billboard album chart for the week ending November 6, 1993, but kept out of the top spot by another debuting album, Pearl Jam's Versus. Yeah, wow. Band supported Counterparts with a 4-month-long tour in the United States and Canada. Relations between the members were reportedly tense, and they followed the tour with a long break, during which lead singer bass player Geddy Lee planned to spend time with his growing family while each member explored other creative interests, such as a Leifson solo album. Jeez. Oh boy. Odyssey wrote that Counterparts is one of Rush's most unique and best releases in their entire catalog, and calling it very heavy sounding. Okay. Very cool. Okay, it looks like there's an additional keyboardist and also orchestration on Nobody's Hero by Michael Kamen. Cool. Okay, I think it's time to get to the first track. First track is Animate. Animate features Lee playing his bass with an old amplifier that was in the studio garbage and repaired by one of the studio's technical assistants. Shirley wanted Lee to play his parts to animate with it. It sounded great. I had a tremendous amount of energy, and all the explosion sounds of it kind of disappeared in the track. So you're not really aware of the fact that it's an amplifier on the verge of death. Interesting. Lee liked Peart's count in at the start of the track as it displays a human touch. Lyrically, Peart wrote the words about one person, yet structured them to make it as if it may concern a relationship, almost a love song. He thought that such love lyrics had become a cliche throughout the 80s, however, and turned to works by Young and Camille Paglia to understand what the modern man was supposed to be. He then took Young's concept of anima and animus to write about a man dominating his softer feminine side with aggression and ambition, more typical male traits. Peart said he plays a basic R&B rhythm that I played back in my early days, coupled with that hypnotic effect that bands like Curve and Lush used. I don't know Curve or Lush. Like, I've never heard of those bands. Interesting. Okay. Oh, and I am listening to remasters. I had one person tell me not to listen to remasters, and I had a million other people tell me to listen to remasters, so this is the remaster. Right? All right, let's check out the first track on Counterparts. This is Animate. Bam.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
Geddy's doing his thing.
Polarize me, sensitize me, criticize me, civilize me, compensate me, animate me, complicate me, elevate me.
You can hear the keys back there.
Goddess in my garden, sister in my soul, angel in my armor, actress in my role,
I wish the guitar was louder.
daughter of a demon lover, empress of the hidden face,
The bass is it's kicking. It's pretty loud.
priestess of the pagan mother,
Like
ancient
up front.
queen of inner space. Polarize me, sensitize me,
some effect on his voice there, at least.
Compensate me, animate me, complicate me, elevate me.
Yeah, it's definitely like aggressive, like driving.
Double in my role, altering my image, struggle for control. Mistress of the dark unconscious, mermaid of the sea, daughter of the great enchantress, sister to the boy inside of me. Polarize me,
That drum fill.
sensitize me, criticize me, civilize me, compensate me, animate me, complicate me, elevate me. My counterpart, my foolish heart, man must learn to rule his tender part. A warming trend, gentle friend, man must build a fortress to a secret pace, a touch of grace. Man must learn to give a little space. A peaceful state, submissive trait. A man must learn to gently dominate. Polarize me, sensitize me, criticize me, civilize me, compensate me, animate me, complicate me, elevate me, complicate me,
Tagging it.
elevate me.
Yeah, they got this keyboard rhythm happening. Hmm. Cool. Okay, yeah. Yeah. You know, I felt this on previous records. I still want more guitar. I want the guitar louder. Those keyboards at the end, they were louder than the guitar. You got that way more than the guitar. And you know, I mean, that's fine. Whatever. You know, it's what it is. But keep on saying I'm gonna write notes. I may as well write them while I'm listening. Right. The bass is way out front. Like way out front. I don't know if that's just like like somebody was commenting about my ears or whatever. Get better ears. Get better. Blah blah blah. Okay, these are I've had these for many years actually. They're great. They're UE7s. Okay, look them up. All right. How much are UE7s nowadays? They're fantastic. So I was living in LA and I was touring with this Persian pop artist, right? This Persian pop star. Really super talented guy, could play multiple instruments, really super talented. And we did some really cool tours, including through Canada. That was my first big Canada jaunt through a couple of cities through there. My favorite place that we played was shit. I want to say it was in Calgary. Actually, it was really nice. It was one of the nicest theaters I've ever played. Come on, I gotta find it. Come on, I can't believe I can't find it. Anyways, we played in Montreal. We played in Vancouver a couple of times, and I really wish I could find this place. I know it was in Calgary. I don't remember what it was called. I'll find it at some point. But the music director that worked for that artist also worked. He somehow had a tie-in with Ultimate Ears, right? And all of us got a set of in-ears. And I remember going to his house and trying every single one, like all of them. So here, like the 5s, the 6s, the 7s, the 11s, the 18s, they had a vocal one. This was many years ago, so I'm sure the models are different now. But out of all of them, the ones that I liked the best, there was two. There was like, I think a vocal one that I liked the best, but they were like $3,500. And then the one that I picked was the 7s, and I want to say that I got them for like somewhere between $600 and $800, I think, something like that. So these things are expensive and they're really great. They sound freaking awesome. I'm gonna be sad when I don't have them anymore, which who knows when that'll be. I've had them for such a long time though. I've gotten my money's worth out of them. Anyways, I don't know why I'm putting them back in. I'm not at that point in this process anymore. Okay, so the bass was really out front. The keyboards, I mean, at the beginning, I could tell that they were there. They were just they sounded just slightly behind Alex. But then, like, the end, they had this other one that was, like, it was bouncing between the ears, and it was like a rhythm or whatever, like, pulsating, kind of. And that was louder than Alex. That definitely was. The song was fine. I didn't have a problem with the song. I didn't have a problem with the song. It didn't, like, jump out at me. I was kind of, like, on the first listen of these records now, like, I'm not only just listening to the song, I'm also listening to like the new production style and like where we're like all of that kind of thing. So it's kind of a lot to hear, it's Rush. It's a lot to catch all in one listen. Obviously I'm gonna go back and listen to it listen to it more, but it was cool. Yeah, immediately it reminded me of Geddy doing his finger action with that because it's almost like at first it almost sounded like with his thumb, like I can imagine like Victor Wooten doing this with his thumb, just like back and forth, double thumping kind of thing, right? Because it kind of had that sound to it. But I know Getty doesn't really do that, but he does like more of this kind of thing. So he's like doing that throughout this whole song. Really driving definitely feels a little bit more aggressive, a little bit for sure, but it was cool. I dug it. Didn't catch anything really with lyrics. Didn't catch me. Again, a lot to listen to on the first track of a record. So, but it was cool, and I definitely look forward to finishing this record out. Okay, up next is one of the singles, Stick It Out. So that's what we're gonna be doing, checking out. I'll catch you then.